There's a quote that says, "Jobs fill your pockets, but adventure fills your soul." For my guest, Luke Bosworth, he's trying to both fill his soul and his pockets through adventure. Get ready to sail the Mediterranean and live in your truck with influencer and creator, Luke Bosworth. Welcome to Journey with Jake. This is a podcast about adventure and how through our adventures we can overcome the challenges of life that come our way. While I expect you will learn some things about different adventures, this show will entertain you. Each episode will feature a different guest or guests as they share experiences and stories from the different adventures they have been on. Not only will you be entertained, but you will also hear the failures and trials each guest faces and what they have done or are doing to overcome the hardships that come their way. My goal is to take each of us on a journey through the experiences of my guests with the hope that you'll be entertained and inspired to overcome your day-to-day challenges. After all, it's not all about the destination as it is about the journey. Hello, my friends, and happy Thanksgiving to all of my American listeners out there. Welcome back to another episode of Journey with Jake. My name is Jake Bushman, and I have the opportunity to be your host for another adventure-filled episode with my guest, Luke Bosworth. I came across Luke on Instagram and was just impressed with his videos, his personality, and just his zest for life and adventure. From spending time with the Whitaker family on sailing Zatara to seeking his own adventures and doing it from his Toyota Tacoma, Luke is all about the adventure and the payoff being adventurous provides. A couple of housekeeping items before we get to my conversation with Luke. If you could subscribe to the podcast and leave me a rating and review, I would love that. It gets the word out about Journey with Jake and allows me to get a little more reach, a little more audience. I also suggest giving me a follow on Instagram at Journey with Jake Podcast. This is the best way to see some clips from both upcoming and past episodes of the show. And it is a place I tend to share more about me on the personal level as well. I'm also on YouTube, so look for Journey with Jake Podcast on YouTube if you prefer to watch the interviews with my guests. YouTube is still fairly new to me, so I apologize. My editing skills are still somewhat raw on YouTube. If you enjoy this episode with Luke, you will also enjoy episode 42 with Andrew Dean and his experiences traveling to Morocco. All right, let's get to my conversation with Luke Bosworth. All right, I'm excited today because I have someone who I've been following on Instagram, social media for a while. This guy's adventurous. This is Luke Bosworth I've got here on the show with me. Luke, welcome to Journey with Jake.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is my first podcast I've ever done. So I'm excited, nervous, but I'm ready.
It's amazing because you are so good on YouTube. You have such a great social media presence. I was actually kind of shocked when you said you hadn't been on a podcast before. So I'm lucky. I feel awesome. I'm like, hey, he's on Journey with Jake is the first one. So thanks for coming on.
Welcome.
Yeah, this will be great. Before we get cranking into who you are and what you do with your adventures, tell me a little bit about Luke. Where are you from? A little bit about your family, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I grew up in Florida, Orlando, Florida to be exact, and kind of just grew up like a regular kid. Always liked adventures, always liked biking, hiking, wakeboarding. That's a big one. And obviously my dad is into all that stuff too. So he's kind of brought me up in that. And was going into college, just doing the traditional path. And I then got a crazy opportunity to go on a sailboat for a little bit with a YouTube family called Sailing Zatara, and went through all of that. Got selected because there's a lot of people that want to do it, and I was one lucky few who got selected. Went out there, and it totally changed the course of my life. So now I'm currently at an Airbnb for free right now. I'm about to go film tomorrow on a spring all day, and I've turned my hobby into my job, which has been amazing thus far.
That's awesome. I might need to talk to you like after, just while we're not recording, about your job. Just kidding.
Yeah, we can get your podcast going full time.
Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. Love it. Okay, so Luke, so you said your dad had a big influence.
Mm-hmm.
What was the influence of your dad? Why is he such a big influence?
Yeah, I mean, so my dad grew up not in action sports or into adventures at all. Just a normal kid, like regular sports. And when he started working a job and moved away from his house, he got into biking and then hiking. And then once you're into one hobby, it's like, oh man, there's like all these other sports out there and things to do. So he just kept going one to the next. And then when I was born, he just brought me up into them, and he loves it. He loves it. He wants it to be his job, but he never could do it. And he's almost living vicariously through me because I'm able to do it now.
That's very cool. So ever since you were born, biking, wakeboard, all the stuff on the water, being in Florida, I mean, Florida's a great place. You were doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Dirt biking. I mean, everything. Like I call myself the jack of all trades because I'm not like the best or even good at most of them, but I can do them. So jack of all
But you do
trades.
them all. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Any siblings? Is it just you?
Yeah. So I got two other siblings, and they both went traditional route, high school, straight to college, straight to job. So I definitely saw what I was going towards, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. This isn't for me. I'm too high strung and need to always be having an adventure and doing something with my hands. So
Are your siblings, they're older than both of them?
yeah, they're older. So
Boys,
um,
girls, sisters,
I got an
brothers?
older sister, older brother, and then I'm the baby.
The baby of the family.
It's
Gotcha.
probably why my parents are okay with me doing this, because they just let me do whatever.
Very nice.
Yeah, they
Excellent.
already had two. They already had two children succeed, so I can just be the failure, I guess.
Well, it sounds like you're being pretty successful. I found you, and I'm pumped to have you on because I'm like, this guy is like killing it out there, and your
You
videos
found
are
me. You found me
fantastic.
through
So
Instagram. You found me through Instagram.
I did. I found you through Instagram. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
it's working somehow.
Yeah,
I found you. So I
that's
think
cool.
that's awesome. All right. You kind of hinted at it. You said you had the chance to go with the family, the sailing Zatara family.
Yes, sailing Zatara, big YouTuber names. If you're in the sailing world or know anything about sailing, definitely seen them on YouTube.
Yeah. Tell us about them, who they are first before we dive into what you did with them. But kind of who are they? Because I didn't know who they were necessarily at first, but I quickly found out once I, realized I was going to talk to you. But yeah, tell us who they
Exactly.
are.
Yeah, so they're a family of five or family of six, and they had a normal life in Texas, and they just got fed up with the rat race and wanted to escape. So they bought a boat and then hit the ocean. Had no idea what they were doing. Got a couple different boats, and they've sailed around the world almost twice, and they've been doing it for like 7 years, something crazy. Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, from what I just my doing my little research on them, yeah, not knowing anything about it, they took the risk and are just like, and then they just they started filming it all, so they YouTube and put that out there on film for everyone to see. Incredible. So they put out an opportunity for somebody to go with them for a set time. What was the whole situation behind that?
Yeah, they've been going for 7 years. They grew up on a boat. The kids have not really had a regular life, but they wouldn't want it any other way. But it does get a little lonely out in the water, obviously, when you're going to all these countries. Sometimes there's not kids your age. So they put out a kind of a call on Instagram and YouTube asking if anybody wanted to join them for a month on the water and to basically be their kids' playmates. And this was during summertime of my college. So I was like, obviously, I want to do this. I have nothing going on. I definitely don't want to get an internship. And so I just submitted an Instagram video. That's all they asked for. Literally, I submitted it late. I didn't think I was going to be able to like win, obviously, because there's thousands of people doing it. But yeah, I submitted the video, and then I went through a trial process where I had to submit a video, and then I also had to do another video kind of explaining like if I would fit in with the family, what I believe in, a lot deeper than the first one. First one was kind of like a highlight reel, I guess. And yeah, I made it through the second round, and then the third round was a Zoom call with them, and that went pretty well. Although I still didn't think I was going to get it because they were like, we're talking to a lot of people, and didn't ever get my hopes up I was going to win. So when I inevitably got the FaceTime call saying that I won, I was like blown away.
That is pretty intense. Did you ever find out like how many people they talked to, like at least on the Zoom portion? Did you ever hear what the number was?
Yeah, so Renee, the mom, really like spearheaded this. She's amazing. She's the YouTube phenomenon, and yeah, she probably 1,000. I mean,
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't. They probably FaceTimed like a couple hundred too. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow. And you were the one selected. Tell me about that family a little bit. It's the Whitakers, right? The
Yeah, the way.
Whitaker family. Okay. So Renee's the mom.
Yep, Renee's the
The
mom, Keith's the
okay.
dad, and then Finn is the youngest, and then, or sorry, Kate is the youngest, then Finn, and then Jack, who's my age, 22.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Jack's 22. Finn,
Finn
he's
is
probably what, 20?
18. He's 18.
18. Okay. And
And
Kate's
then
the
Kate is
youngest.
16.
Wow. Okay, so if she's been out there 7 years, then she's been out there since she was
Yeah, she literally like grew
seven
up.
or
Like
eight.
the room she's in, they called it the Hobbit hole. And when she first like moved in, she could stand up in her room. And then obviously after 8 years, she couldn't stand in her room anymore. So she's got to like hunch over and kind of be like a hobbit.
All right. So they selected you. You went through the process. If you don't mind, what were some of the things maybe that they asked you? Like, what were they? Because you said they want to make sure you fit in.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a
Yeah,
big thing. You're gonna be there with a month. They don't want someone who's gonna get out there a week and be like, this guy's terrible, I guess.
exactly.
So yeah, what were some
Exactly.
of the
So
things they wanted to know?
they had, we were the second group. They already had a group called the Red Sea group come out. They were the first ones to do it. And then that went okay. And then a couple months went by and they did another one for us. And we were the Med Sea crew because we were in Greece. Obviously, when you're on a boat, there's nowhere to go but the boat. You're on the ocean, no running away, a lot of hard conversations, and you want to fit in with the people you're going to be out there with. So they asked me a couple questions, just like, what do I believe in? What are my views on politics? How close am I with my family? Family's huge to them because that's all they have out there. But yeah, it was a lot of deep questions, and luckily fit in with them and they believe the same things. And I mean, obviously they invited a lot of other people out there who don't believe the same things or have different values. But at the end of the day, there's definitely criteria they wanted you to be in a sphere of. So I fit.
Now, was it just you, or was there other people that also went with you?
Yep. So it was me, and then, sorry, this was like a year ago. You got to remember, it was me, Madeline, who was a girl, Glory, another girl, and Ganam. He was a guy. So in total, it was three girls. No, four girls. In total, it was four girls and four guys out
Okay,
there.
out
Yeah.
there. All right, very good.
Yeah. Including the family.
Okay, yeah, including all of them. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right, very good. So you said it was a Mediterranean. That's kind of where you went. So yeah, where did you go? When did you go? All that good stuff.
Yep. So we were in Greece in the Mediterranean Sea. And it was my first time ever flying out of seas, being out of the United States, which was crazy. And went on that big flight, got my first meal on a plane. I had this idea from Casey Neistat about what a plane ride across the country would be like, and it was not like that at all. It was very tight, very cramped. It was kind of like a prison meal. But I got over to Greece and met up with them. I was the first one. Very, very awkward. There's a clip of it I'll probably send you. Me meeting the family for the first time. But yeah, I was out there for a couple days on my own, and then everyone else started to fly in and started to meet all of them, and we all just like immediately clicked. It was probably because of the background research they did on us, and just that we'd all kind of be roughly the same. And yeah, it was an amazing time.
Yeah, I want to know about that first interaction then, because you said it was kind of awkward.
Yeah,
Was it just because you were nervous to meet them? They were nervous to meet you. What was kind of the vibe
yeah,
for that?
I'm flying across the world basically in my mind to a family I've never met and who I found through social media. And I was like, am I gonna die? Like, is this real? And I get there and it just like hit me. I was like, this is really happening. I'm really gonna live on a boat for a month. What is life right now? And I just like could barely talk to them because I was so stoked and just smiling the whole time.
Ear to ear, right? Smiling away.
Really.
That's awesome. So then it sounds like the other folks you got along with great as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The other crew we had, Madeline and Glory and Ganam. Ganam was from Saudi Arabia, and that was really cool. Never met someone from the Middle East, or I mean, even Europe, but it was awesome to become friends with him. We still talk all the time. Might be going on a trip soon to, I think it's Indonesia. We'll see. And then Madeline, she was from the United States. Same with Glory, or Glory's technically from Canada, but lives in the United States. It's great to have a connection with all of them. And yeah, it was awesome.
That's very cool. Any particular experiences that you remember, maybe like a best moment, worst moment type of thing on the month long across the Mediterranean?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many lifelong memories there, but a memory that has really stuck with me was like right when we departed port and it was just all of us on the boat, and we were in the front of it. Waves were crashing on us, and there was dolphins that were jumping, and it was just so surreal. Like exactly what you see on YouTube is like what I'm seeing right here. And that was the moment I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to explore like this. How can I make this my job? Like that was the turning moment right when we left.
Wow. Okay. So right when you first headed out, that was kind of the moment where you're like, I want to be a content creator. I want to make this
Yeah,
happen.
I was like, this is insane. Like they get to do this for fun. And the craziest thing that I thought was as we're all like freaking out, losing our minds because we've never been on a boat, we're in Greece. The kids on the boat and Keith and Renee are just like, like we've seen it. We've done this for 7 years. I was like what? Like, but I get it. I mean, I've done the same with wakeboarding and jet skiing and everything else I do. Like, you go kind of numb to it.
It's interesting, huh? How you get involved with something like that. Like, yeah, if I came and you were to take me I've never wakeboarded. So for me, I'd be like, like going crazy. You'd be like, this
Exactly.
guy. But here they are. They've been doing it for 7 years, which is amazing too, because if you think about it, they had no experience. They were living in Texas
Yeah,
and just went out and said, we're going to do this as a family. I'm sure and you probably had discussions with them, how it's shaped who they are as a family and things
totally.
like that. Yeah, I
Totally.
can imagine.
It was a huge changing moment for them and for all of them. And clearly it worked in their favor and they've totally changed their lives.
Yeah, definitely. What about any, I don't want to say it's the worst moment, but maybe an awkward moment, or besides meeting them, which was awkward. Any other moments where you're out there, where it's just like today wasn't so good, or something happened?
Yeah. There was a couple. Obviously, it was I mean, I've always had AC my whole life. And out there on the boat, we didn't always run the AC because you got to run the generator and that burns gas. So sometimes when you're sleeping, especially the bunk I was in, so I was in the captain's peak, which is like way in the front of the boat. And I also was sleeping with Ganam. So we were like double stacked in like front cabin, just stuffed in there. And it would definitely get pretty steamy at night. Sometimes I'd be waking up sweating and I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks. But then in the morning, you just jump in the water and then you just forget about it.
So would you jump in the water even if you're out in the middle of the water? Like, how did that work?
Yeah. So in Greece, there's a lot of islands over there.
Okay.
And we would mostly just island hop. So you kind of like sail for a couple hours a day, go to an island, stay there the night, and then just keep like day hopping. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you had that opportunity to keep getting refreshed.
Yeah. Keep getting in the water. Cause when you are sailing, like you can't jump in really because it's too
Yeah.
rough. Also,
Okay. Yeah.
the boat, if you like fall off, you're kind of done.
So did they have like chores for you to do or assignments? I mean, because you're helping them out, right? They're not just giving you a free ride. You're like helping them out with what they've got to do, right? Sort of. I don't know.
Well, this trip, the med crew trip, it was like purely just for fun. And we just got to play, do whatever. Obviously, we had a couple chores. Like I had trash duty, but that was just like take the trash out when we get to port. That was it. It was nothing. It was nothing. So yeah, that one was purely fun. And I have been on more trips with them where I do get a lot more jobs and I am more crew, but we were really just passengers for the med crew trip.
Okay. So you've been with them more than just this month-long trip.
Yeah. Yeah. More than the month-long trip. So when we departed on the med crew trip, we were like, well, also when we departed, we were in Europe still. So the rest of the group, besides the Whitaker family, we were like, you know what? We're in Europe. We're going to go travel together. So we went to Italy, Switzerland. The Whitakers actually joined us in Switzerland
Wow,
for
cool.
another, and we did that for another month. It was like, it was wild. It was wild.
Wow.
But yeah, so, and then we all left each other and we were like, we may never see each other again. And that was really hard, really sad because you bond with all these people so much when you're out there and you're with each other every single day. Yeah, really sad. And then I went back to college for a semester, and the whole time I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? I want to be on a boat again. I want to be filming content. And the Whitakers were crossing from Europe over to America, and they asked if I wanted to go with them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So it wasn't just like, okay, win a prize, you go on this fun month-long trip. You got to know this family so
Yeah.
well that they invited you back. You had to spend some more time with them. And is this what kind of helped you start getting your content going and your Luke
Totally.
Bosworth social media. Okay.
Totally. I mean, I always said I wanted to be a social media creator. I made a couple like funny videos in high school and stuff, and people kind of knew I was into it, but they never, did anything more than that. And I probably would have never done anything more than that for myself because I was on track and I was like going to college and going to get a big job. But yeah, this Zatara totally changed my course with that and gave me this crazy opportunity. And um, yeah, I just have done it since then.
What kind of things did they teach you about being a content creator?
Yeah. So it was more just watching them film and do their jobs every day and have fun. Kind of just picked up some things here and there. It wasn't like a course I was sat down and they taught me,
Mm-hmm.
Social media it's easy, but it's also there's tricks and tips to it that will definitely help further your career. Obviously, they have a huge platform. They have like 500,000 subscribers, crazy big numbers. They've been in the game a long time. So that platform did boost me a little bit and got my start in social media,
Yeah,
which
no
really,
doubt. And well, you might as well take it, if you have the opportunity to learn from somebody like that, take advantage of it. That's something you wanted to do anyway. I always wondered, and I see people like them and people like you, and you put out great videos. Anybody who wants to check out Luke Bosworth on YouTube because his videos are fantastic. Do you ever have those moments? And I remember asking, I had the Adventures of A plus K on my show a year ago, and they're great with YouTube and, van life and that whole bit. And I always thought, okay, is it hard to always enjoy the moment without thinking, oh, I should film this or, oh, I should get content for this? What's the struggle with that or how is it for you?
yeah, that's definitely been a struggle for me. I've wrestled with, I'm just going to live in the moment for this trip or I'm not going to film it. And then when I look back, I'm like, man, like, why didn't I film it? It only takes a couple seconds to do. And then you can look back and have lifelong memories and also make it a job. So now this is like very recent, but now I'm really like getting into it. And like every adventure I go on, I'm really trying to film, make a story out of it because I do have fun filming. I like it. It's something I'm passionate about. Editing, not so much. I'm trying to hire that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the filming part, I mean, it's just you get to live your life basically.
Yeah. It's awesome. I wanted to ask you because of the fact that you went off for a month with them, noticed on Instagram, you do have a girlfriend who I think you've been with her for
I do.
several years.
Yeah, 5 years. I've been with
Oh,
her for
wow. 5 years.
5 years.
What's that like with, going off on your adventures, doing your thing? How does that affect that relationship?
Yeah. I thought you'd bring up this question. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a struggle on our relationship when I'm going off and traveling and she's still in college. And especially in summer when she has her summer off and I'm out traveling, that puts a huge toll on our relationship. And she is actually going to be joining me in the truck coming up here for a couple weeks, which will be fun. But yeah, I would say to anyone who wants to travel and they have a girlfriend who can't travel because they're living their own life, I would say it's a struggle for sure. There's been a lot of hard conversations, a lot of um, yeah, a lot of hurt and pain there, but we've overcome, we've made it through, and hopefully from here on out, things will be good.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. 5 years. That's
Yeah. It's not something, I mean, obviously if you have a relationship like a couple months and then you're like, babe, I'm going to go travel for a couple months. I don't know if you want to stay with me because we've only been together for a couple months, but when you're with each other for years, it's like,
yeah.
okay, like I guess we're going to make it through this.
Yeah. No, I admire you for definitely, and you said she's going to join in the truck. So I know you got
Yep.
back from, you're sailing with the Zatara family, the sailing Zatara. You've now kind of done a little, I don't want to call it van life. I'll call it truck life. I don't know what.
No, yeah. I don't really know what to call it either. I call it truck life.
Yeah, truck life. So you decided you're like, hey, I'm going to live in my van. I think one cool thing, and I want to mention this because I think this was cool what you did. You
Mhm.
kind of took a little bit of what they did by just getting somebody, and you reached out and you said, hey, who wants to travel with me to, I think you went to Colorado with you. And you got just a total stranger who you'd never met to travel with you.
It
You're
was,
crazy. I think you're crazy, but I love it because it's awesome. You're taking what things that they did and integrating it. Yeah, tell me, how did this whole idea like, hey, let me go live in the truck, how did this whole come about?
yeah. So I got back from the Atlantic crossing trip. It was insane. And then I literally hopped like back on super soon with my girlfriend on the boat, and we traveled up the whole Caribbean islands all the way to Florida. And then right when we got back from that, literally like 2 weeks, me, Finn, and Glory, all from the sailboat, we decided we are going to go live in our cars. And I have a Toyota Tacoma. I was like, all right, I can't sleep in it. I got to get a camper for it. So I did some research and I bought a Go Fast camper for it. Bought a lot of purchases at gear stores, REI, and filled it with all the necessities I'd have out there. But I was like, okay, I got to drive my car from Florida to Montana. And I don't want to do that alone. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put something on my story. Like, who wants to go with me? Zatara did that for me on the sailboat. So I was like, they can work out. Social media is not, it's not a terrible place. There's scary people on it, but I don't think I'll get one of them. Yeah.
You got a guy, was his name Diego? I think his name was Diego.
Yeah, Diego.
You got Diego. I think a video that you had, and it was funny because I think he showed up and he's like, I don't have a gun, or I can't remember. He made some joke about like he wasn't going to kill you or something, as you travel, which I thought was hilarious because it's, in my mind, I'm watching this, I'm like, Luke's really just going to pick up some stranger and go across. What kind of vetting did you do? Some sort of vetting? Did you talk to him ahead of time? I mean, you did some stuff like that, or?
No, I did not. I did not do the whole Zatara like 3 video thing and FaceTime. I put out something on, this idea came about like a couple days before I was going to leave for the trip. So I just threw it up in my story. I was like, who's crazy enough to do this? And Diego responded. Shout out Diego. He lived like 30 minutes from me. We didn't even know. And he sent me the location. I'm like, dude, you live 30 minutes. This is awesome. And it was north. So I didn't have to go like to Miami or anything.
Yeah.
And I messaged him like, hey, you're not going to kill me, right? And he's like, nope. I'm like, you okay with just like driving like 30 hours to Colorado? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I picked him up. He hopped in and it went by super quick because we were just like talking the whole time, getting to know each other. There's so much to talk about when it's a complete stranger. So it was really fun.
That is wild. That's awesome.
And I planned this trip terribly because I had no idea where we're gonna stay. I barely even had camping gear for him. I slept on the ground. Like it was a mess, but he made it through and he made it like 10 times more fun. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So where's that gone from you now? So you got to Colorado now. What's going on with the truck? Kind of
Yeah, so this is all pretty recent, just a couple months ago, or just a month ago. Yeah, so we got to Colorado, dropped them off in Denver. He flew back to Florida for college, RIP. And now so I went from Colorado and went up to Montana. That's where I met Finn and Glory. And then we went to Tetons, we went to Glacier National Park, we went to Banff, Canada. And then we started coming down back to Montana, and Finn flew to Switzerland for Creator Camp. It's a big YouTuber event. Glory stayed there in her car and went to Tetons, and then I flew home to Florida. And now I've been in Florida for 2 weeks, picking up the girlfriend, and then we're going to head back up to Montana and drive the car back to Florida because it's getting way too cold up there.
Yeah, and so she's going to be with you then. You're going to have the girlfriend, which will be fun.
Yep. Girlfriend is going to be joining me in the car, and that will be an experience because there's no showers besides very cold rivers, and there's no bathroom besides the woods. So it'll definitely test her and test our relationship.
So you don't seem to have a problem with any of that. You seem to be cool with showering in a river, going to the bathroom in the woods. What's her thoughts on that? Have you talked to her about it? Like, she know it's coming up?
Yeah, so funny enough, that's actually my recent video that's going to be coming out on YouTube, is about how all these comforts of a home, a toilet, Wi-Fi, water, things that you think are necessities, not having them for 2 months, I've realized that I don't need them in my life in order to live the life I want. So they just aren't necessities to me. And I know they are to basically every American. But yeah, I definitely warned her of what's to come. And there's only so much warning you can do before you experience it.
There's something you say, and I don't know if you say this at all in all of your videos, but I saw it on one of the videos I was watching, but you posed the question, you said, how much are you willing to go through for fun? Is that a common saying that you do on all your videos, or was I?
No, that was just for that montage of that video.
Gotcha. Okay. I liked it because I thought about that. What was your kind of your thoughts behind that? Because I think that's a great saying.
Yeah, I mean, depriving yourself of all these basic needs and living out of a car, it's hard on the body, it's hard on the mind, but I do it because I love adventure and I love exploring and finding what's around the corner. So I'm willing to go through it. But a lot of people are not willing to go without these things for extended periods of time. Even if they like exploring it, it outweighs like what they want to do.
I like how you equate it to fun because in some people's mind, they're like, no, going out, having to go to the bathroom in the woods, getting in a cold river to wash my hair, like that is not fun. But for you, it is. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, okay, it is fun. It's really fun because there's always the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, oh man, like, is this like, how cold is this river going to be? Is a bear going to eat me while I'm trying to use the bathroom? Like, there's a lot of unknowns, which I like. And coming from regular life having a regular job, everything is planned out. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen when you go to the bathroom, like just like simple things like that. But I do get like tired of those things. And the real fun for me is going on hikes or mountain biking or doing action sports, really. That's the fun part for me. But also camping. I love camping too. And showering in a river is part of camping.
Gotcha. So some of that stuff, the cold rivers, the going to the bathroom out in the woods, that's part of what you have to do in order to have the fun. For you to hit the trail on a mountain bike, for you to be able to hike up to a glacier lake, that's part of
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. It's
Gotcha.
part of it. And I mean, and it adds to it for sure. Living in a truck is an experience on its own. And then when you add all these crazy things that we're doing, activities, action sports, it just heightens the trip.
What
Yeah.
about moments when maybe, because being in a truck by yourself, and I know it sounds like you put yourself around some good people. You had Finnegan and Glory, and you rode up with Diego, that kind of thing. Do you have moments though where you feel alone, where you feel kind of alone and maybe a little bit unsure?
Yeah, I would definitely say on this journey of social media and trying to turn to a job, there's a lot of questioning I've done where I'm like, what am I doing out here? Is this really going to work? Is it really going to pay off? A lot of doubting. And every time I kind of go through that, on the other end of that, there's a brand who wants to work with me or another cool video idea I have. My last video pops off, so there's always good on the other side of doubt, I would say.
How do you keep going when you have those doubts?
Yeah, I would say definitely talking to friends, talking to my family about it, and then honestly just questioning myself. I'm like, is this something I really want to do? And back to that question, it's like, how much are you willing to go through for fun? And clearly I'm willing to go through a lot.
What do your parents think about this?
Like I said, I'm the youngest child, so I can be a failure. Two other siblings are living a normal lifestyle and are making it in the real world. So they're definitely supportive as long as I can be financially free and not tied to them. Yeah, they're totally okay with it. So, and they know how much I love exploring and action sports, and as long as I'm happy, they want what's best for me. And
I
right
love
now, I
it.
think this is what's best for me.
I love it. So you said you enjoy hiking, you enjoy camping. Do you ever have moments where you're hiking where you're able to just stop and just be like, wow, I'm in Glacier National Park or I'm in Banff and just be able to enjoy those moments?
But yeah, all the time, especially even driving too. It's you just pull over or at a hike, you just stop at a mountain lake and like look out and you're like, wow, like I'm really out here. I'm really doing this. Like the life I dreamed of, I'm doing it right now. I'm living it. And it that moment is always really cool. And then I always pull out a camera and ruin the moment. But
Hey, but you almost it's your job, so it's kind of like you get
and
to
I can look
enjoy
back.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
see the mem-
Exactly. Love that. Love that about that. For you, Luke, when you think of the word adventure, what does adventure mean to you?
Ooh. For me, it would mean the unknown, what's out there. I mean, that's like the most simple term of it, but it's it's going through struggle to find something that you think is going to be there and it could not be, but all these things you go along on the journey to get there is what make up the adventure, I think.
100%. I agree with that. I love that. So, Luke, tell everybody where they can find your social media, where YouTube, all that good stuff. How do we look for Luke?
Yeah, so you can find me on all platforms at Luke Bosworth _ YouTube, Instagram. I'm kind of on TikTok, but I don't ever post there. But yeah, YouTube and Instagram are the main ones.
Awesome. Luke, thank you so much for coming on Journey with Jake.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Literally, it's just a conversation.
Thank you so much to my guest, Luke Bosworth, for coming on the show and sharing who he is as he tries to make a career as a creator and influencer in the adventure realm. It was fascinating to hear your story and see your excitement for adventure. Thank you so much, Luke. Go out and give Luke a follow on Instagram and YouTube at Luke Bosworth _ Luke has some great videos and content, and he is going places, so be sure and check him out. While you're out there checking out Luke on social media, if you have not done so, give me a follow on Instagram at Journey with Jake Podcast and reach out and say hi. Let me know what your favorite episode of the show is, or if you have an adventure or story I should share on the show, I would love to hear about it. You can message me on Instagram or send me an email to jake@journeywithjake.net. I have another fantastic episode next week with Kitty Robinson as she talks about her adventures on the Appalachian Trail. In fact, she has a book about it called The Runaway Housewives of the Appalachian Trail. Be sure and check it out next week. I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, and just remember, it's not always about the destination as it is about the journey. Take care, everybody.